Liana Okoye had imagined many versions of her husband's return. None of them looked like this. 5 years had passed since their quiet contract wedding. 5 years since Jinwoo Han boarded a plane and vanished before their marriage had even begun. She had spent those years alone in the cold Han penthouse, collecting a monthly allowance, signing dotted lines, and quietly rebuilding her life. A wife in name only. A ghost in the family. Now she stood in the grand foyer of the airport terminal, summoned by his mother for a proper welcome home. Cameras flashed. The Han family guards lined the walkway. And then he appeared. Jinwoo. Her husband. The man she barely knew. Tall, handsome, annoyingly well-groomed, and with his hand tightly wrapped around the waist of a red-haired woman in a designer coat. The mistress. The woman smiled sweetly, as if she weren't holding the arm of someone else's husband. Liana's jaw flexed. Jinwoo froze when he saw her, like he'd forgotten she even existed. Then guilt washed over his face. Then panic. Because just behind Liana stood the one person Jinwoo feared more than death, his uncle. Han So-ryan, the mafia boss in charge of their dynasty. The man who hated disrespect, especially in marriage. Jinwoo immediately dropped the mistress's hand like it was a burning coal. Liana, he stammered. You didn't have to come. She smiled serenely. Your mother insisted. She said your wife should stand beside you. The mistress narrowed her eyes, stepping closer. I thought you said she wasn't in the picture. Sho. Jinwoo nearly choked. Liana arched a brow. Oh, he said that. Jinwoo swallowed so hard she heard it. When the mistress moved to cling to him again, Liana stepped forward, not out of jealousy, but because humiliation had a limit. I'm not here to play house, she said quietly. I don't want to be your wife. I want a divorce. Jinwoo grabbed her wrist, face pale. No. You don't understand. If So-ryan finds out about her, he'll kill us both. I can't divorce you. Liana yanked her wrist free. I'm not staying married to a coward who can't even own his betrayal. She turned away, fury marching through her veins, but as she left the terminal, a chilling truth settled in her chest. His uncle was already watching everything. Han So-ryan did not shout. He didn't need to. The entire airport terminal fell into a suffocating silence as his cane tapped once against the marble floor, a simple sound, yet it sliced through the crowd like a blade. Liana didn't turn back. But she felt his eyes on her, sharp and calculating, and far too perceptive. 5 years in this family taught her one thing. When Han So-ryan watched you, he saw everything. She pushed through the sliding doors into the humid Seoul night, her heart hammering. Cameras flashed behind her, reporters shouted questions, Jinwoo panicked loudly, but all she heard was her own pulse. Her phone vibrated. Mother-in-law, Liana, come back. Don't embarrass the family. Liana switched off the phone. She had been silent for long enough. The next morning, Jinwoo didn't call. The mistress did. Her name flashed boldly on the caller ID. Aubrey. Liana rejected the call. Seconds later, a message buzzed in. Aubrey, you'll regret leaving the airport. So-ryan wants to see you. Now. Liana froze. Why'd her? Why not Jinwoo, the actual offender? And then it clicked. So-ryan was a strategist. He always examined the weakest link first. Except Liana Okoye hadn't been weak for a long, long time. She slipped into a simple black dress, tied her braids into a low bun, and left the penthouse. If the mafia boss wanted her, fine. She would face him, not as a trembling contract wife, but as a woman with nothing left to lose. The Han family estate sat on a private mountain, a palace carved into stone, guarded by silent men in black and surrounded by forests that whispered old secrets. Liana wasn't escorted inside. They watched her walk alone through the grand hallway, past gold lanterns, carved dragons, and walls filled with ancestral portraits whose eyes seemed to follow her. She found So-ryan in the inner courtyard, half reclined on a chaise, breathing shallowly. He looked wrong. Paler than usual, sweat on his brow, hands trembling. Not the terrifying, iron-blooded patriarch the world feared. he said without opening his eyes. So the little contract bride came after all. Liana bowed slightly. Your men told me you summoned me. I summoned Jinwoo. So Ryan corrected, voice rough. He was too afraid to come. Typical. He finally looked at her, and she saw the truth.
He was dying.
Or close to it. What happened to you? She asked before she could stop herself. So Ryan smirked weakly.
Poison.
A gift from an enemy. My charming nephew's mistress brought me tea this morning. Liana's stomach dropped. Aubrey was here? She poisoned you. Someone did. His eyes narrowed. Tell me why you want a divorce. Your nephew arrived with another woman yesterday, she said plainly. Everyone saw it. He's been cheating. For years. So Ryan absorbed this slowly. Then he laughed a low, dangerous sound. That idiot boy, he murmured. He brought dishonor into my family while I was too sick to stand. Suddenly, so Ryan swayed and nearly collapsed. Instinct overtook fear. Liana rushed forward, catching him before his head hit the stone floor. His skin burned under her palms. Stay still, she ordered, slipping into the voice of the grandmother who raised her. Give me your wrist. So Ryan blinked at her. You dare give me orders? You're going to pass out if I don't. She checked his pulse, erratic. Then his eyes rolled back. No, no, no. Liana lowered him, grabbed two nearby towels, soaked them in the courtyard fountain, and pressed them to his temples and wrists like her grandmother taught her during malaria season. Next, she reached for the emergency herb pouch she kept at her purse, her grandmother's last gift. She ground the leaves between her palms, mixed them with water, and pressed them to his tongue. Swallow, she whispered. Come back. Minutes stretched like hours. Then, so Ryan inhaled sharply. His eyes snapped open. He stared at her with a disbelieving intensity. You saved me. Liana exhaled shakily. It's temporary. You need a hospital. No, he grabbed her wrist with surprising strength. What do you want?
Speak.
Liana hesitated only for a moment. A divorce, she said. Nothing more. So Ryan pushed himself upright. You want freedom from my nephew? Yes. For what?
Another man?
Liana snorted. I haven't had time for men. Your nephew robbed me of my youth, but not my standards. So Ryan's lips twitched. A smirk, faint, but real. You're bold.
And honest.
I appreciate both. He signaled a guard. Investigate Jinwoo. And the mistress. I want every detail. Within minutes, a folder arrived. So Ryan flipped through it. His eyes darkened with fury. He cheated on you the entire 5 years, he said. Multiple women. He also funneled family money to one of them. Liana closed her eyes briefly. It hurt, not because she loved Jinwoo, but because she hated being played for a fool. So, she asked quietly, will you grant the divorce? Yes, so Ryan said. But there is a complication. Which is, the business agreement between our families requires a marriage. If you divorce Jinwoo, my ally will withdraw, and several contracts will collapse. So, she pressed. So, he said slowly, his gaze cutting through her, I need a new bride. Liana's heartbeat stuttered. He couldn't mean, you saved my life, so Ryan continued. You are loyal, smart, and not afraid to challenge me. Qualities rare in my world. He leaned closer, voice a low command. Marry me instead. Liana's breath stalled. What? You said you want a husband who won't betray you, he said. And I need a wife who can stabilize this empire while I recover. He held out his hand, steady, decisive, sovereign. I will finalize your divorce today. And tonight, if you agree, you will become my wife. A pause. And I will personally destroy anyone who ever humiliated you. Liana stared at the mafia boss, the man everyone feared, now offering her a throne she never asked for. So Ryan murmured, do we strike a new deal? Mrs. Han. She slowly placed her hand in his. Her voice was cool, unshaken. Yes. Behind them, in the far corner of the courtyard, a pair of red heels clicked softly. Aubrey. Watching. smiling, and already plotting her next move. The divorce papers were ready within 6 hours. Liana didn't know if Zariah used lawyers, assassins, or pure intimidation, but by sunset, Jinwoo's signature was shakier than a leaf in a storm. He stood in the corner of the Han legal room, pale and trembling while his now former wife calmly slipped the ring off her finger. "W. Liana, please." "No," she said simply. Jinwoo flinched like the word was a weapon. "This wasn't supposed to happen," he whispered. "I was going to explain. You already explained everything I needed at the airport." Her voice didn't rise, didn't crack, and that made it hurt more. Aubrey stood behind Jinwoo, arms crossed, looking smug. "So tragic," she said sweetly. "Liana, you could have kept the marriage. We didn't mind sharing." Liana looked her dead in the eyes. "You'll mind sharing soon," she murmured.
Aubrey blinked, confused.
But Jinwoo understood the implication. He paled even more, because only he knew who Liana was marrying. They married in the palace courtyard at night, under lanterns swaying in the cold wind. No guests, no press, no family except the witnesses, so Ryan trusted. It was fast. Too fast. A quiet ceremony with only ancient vows and the soft brush of Ryan's fingers as he slid a ring onto her hand, a ring heavier and more expensive than her entire bank account. "You saved my life," he said for the 8th time, voice low enough only she could hear. "This is my repayment." Her eyes met his. "This is a partnership," she corrected. His lips curved slightly. "A partnership," he agreed, "built on honesty and mutual interests." The officiant declared them husband and wife. A breeze swept through the courtyard. Somewhere in the dark, a camera clicked. Aubrey's work. The palace staff moved with silent precision as they escorted her into Ryan's wing, through sliding doors, silk curtains, and corridors lit with gold. She had seen luxury before, but Ryan lived in a world beyond luxury. A world built on fear, respect, and blood. Her new bedroom wasn't a room, it was a suite. Soft carpets, warm lighting, wardrobes filled with tailored clothes already in her size. She swallowed. "This is too much." "It is not enough," Ryan answered from the doorway. He had changed into a dark hanbok, resting against the frame like a king watching his queen inspect the throne. "You are my wife now," he said. "You'll be treated as such." Liana turned to him. "What exactly does that mean?" "It means no one disrespects you again." "And Jinwoo?" His eyes hardened. "Handled." She didn't ask further. When Ryan said a matter was handled, it usually meant someone was crying in a room or never heard from again. He didn't touch her. He didn't even come inside the room. He simply walked her to the door, met her gaze, and said, "You need rest. Tomorrow will be war." War? She didn't understand what he meant until dawn. When Liana woke up, her phone was exploding. Hundreds of messages. Thousands of notifications. Trending topic number 1 in Korea. Hashtag new Mrs. Han. Trending topic number 2. Hashtag Jinwoo divorced in a day. Trending topic number 3. Hashtag Han Ryan marries his nephew's ex. The comments were vicious. Gold digger. She jumped from nephew to uncle for money. She bewitched the mafia boss. She's a homewrecker. Who is this African girl anyway? Liana threw the phone onto the bed, chest tight. This wasn't what she wanted. She didn't want fame, or status, or power. She just wanted peace. A soft knock sounded. The door slid open. Ryan stepped in, elegant, sharp, perfectly in control. He held her phone in one hand and a cup of tea in the other. "Don't read the comments," he said. "They are insignificant." "They're calling me a whore," she whispered. "They called me worse before breakfast," he replied calmly, placing the tea on her bedside table. "Public opinion is wind. Useless and temporary. But they're attacking my race." Ryan's expression shifted, darkened. "You are my wife," he said slowly, dangerously. "Your race is my race now. Anyone who insults you is insulting me." He grabbed the phone and tossed it aside like trash. "You will not fight this war alone." She searched his face. "Why are you defending me so much?" We barely know each other. Because loyalty deserves loyalty. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. And you were loyal to me before I ever earned it. Her chest tightened. So Ryan didn't speak like Jinwoo. Where Jinwoo lied, deflected, stuttered. So Ryan cut straight to the truth. A truth that felt terrifyingly honest. The peace shattered by afternoon. A live video notification popped up from Aubrey. Liana clicked it reluctantly. Aubrey was crying fake tears in a luxury apartment. Everyone, she sniffed dramatically. Please pray for Jinwoo. He's devastated by the sudden divorce. He was trying to fix his marriage, but his uncle's wife. Liana choked. His uncle's wife. Aubrey smiled through her tears. Liana stole him for herself.
So that was her plan.
Twist the story. Play the victim.
Ruin Liana's name.
Liana clenched her jaw. This woman wanted a war?
Fine.
African women did not start fights. But they finished them. She stormed toward Ryan's study. Your nephew's mistress is. I know, he said before she finished. She's been broadcasting lies for the past 10 minutes. So what do? He looked at her steadily. We do nothing. Liana blinked. Excuse me? Let her dig her grave, he said calmly. My people are already gathering evidence of her crimes. What crimes? He leaned back in his leather chair. You'll see tonight. Her skin prickled. So Ryan always knew more than he said. That evening, after dinner, Liana stepped onto the palace balcony. The city glowed beneath them. For the first time since the airport, she let herself breathe. So Ryan joined her silently, leaning against the railing. You survived your first day as my wife, he said. She exhaled a shaky laugh. Barely. You are stronger than you think. She shook her head. You don't know me. I know enough. Silence stretched, warm, charged, unexpected. Then he added softly, and by the end of this, the entire world will know exactly who you are. She turned to him. And who is that? So Ryan moved closer, his voice a whisper against the night air. My partner. My queen. And the woman everyone will fear to cross. Liana swallowed hard. Because for the first time she believed it. The palace was too quiet. Too still. Too calm for a night when the world outside was tearing Liana apart. She sat at the edge of the bed, hands trembling slightly as she scrolled through more comments twisting her name, her face, her skin into insults. Korean men always go for dark-skinned women for fun. She bewitched him with juju. Uncle and nephew? She's disgusting. A hand plucked the phone from her grip. Enough, so Ryan said. He stood over her, tall, silent, carved from shadow and authority. There was no anger in his eyes, only something heavier. Possession, protection, rage on her behalf. You are not allowed to poison your mind with their ignorance. Liana swallowed. It's not ignorance. It hurts. It hurts because you are human, he said softly. But their words? They are dust. Dust didn't feel this heavy. He crouched to her eye level, lifting her chin gently with his finger. In this house, you are untouchable. Remember that. Her breath stuttered. This man, this dangerous, unreadable man, why was he starting to feel safer than her husband ever did? Before she could speak, her phone buzzed again. A fresh notification. Aubrey Kellis, live stream. The full truth. Liana's stomach dropped. So Ryan's gaze sharpened. Let's watch, he said. I want to see how deep she digs her grave. Aubrey appeared on screen with swollen red eyes, wrapped dramatically in a blanket like a widow. Hello, everyone, she whispered in a trembling voice. I'm only going live because I can't allow these lies about poor Jinwoo to continue. Liana rolled her eyes. Poor Jinwoo. So Ryan smirked. Aubrey sniffed. He tried so hard to fix things with his wife. But she tricked him. She trapped him into marriage. And then, she ran to his uncle. Liana shot to her feet. Oh, hell no. So Ryan gently pulled her back down. Patience. Aubrey continued, voice breaking. She stole him from me. She took advantage of Jinwoo's vulnerable state. And now she's married to Zariah for clout. Liana's blood boiled. Clout? She could barely pronounce his family name last week. Aubrey wiped fake tears. Jinwoo told me everything. Liana has always had a crush on Zariah. The screen froze. The feed cut. Total silence. Liana blinked. Did my internet die? No, Zariah said calmly, slipping his phone back into his pocket. I had her stream removed. Her jaw dropped. You can do that. I can do anything. He didn't even blink. A knock sounded. One of Zariah's men entered, tall, black suit, deadly expression.
Boss.
The file you requested on Aubrey Kellis. Liana frowned.
File.
Zariah took the folder casually. Her crimes. He opened it and slid it across the table for Liana to see. Her eyes widened. Inside were photos, screenshots, documents. Aubrey had been stealing from the Han family for 3 years. Money laundering,
Corporate spying.
drug trafficking connections. And last, an attempt to frame Liana for theft. Liana gasped. She tried to pin all this on me? She was preparing it, Zariah said. To destroy you once she married Jinwoo. The room tilted. Her heart sank. So she never loved him? Loved. Zariah scoffed. She used him, just like she used every man before. Liana sat slowly, absorbing everything. Why didn't you expose her sooner? Because now, he said, leaning back leisurely. She touched something that belongs to me. Liana froze. Me? He met her gaze, with dangerous calm. You are my wife. Anyone who attacks you signs their own death warrant. Her breath hitched. You don't have to protect me like that.
I do.
And I will. His certainty wrapped around her like heat, like a shield she didn't know she needed. By morning, the headlines had flipped. Breaking news, evidence against Aubrey Kellis surfaces. Han Zariah files criminal report against former mistress of his nephew Liana Okoye vindicated, a victim of targeted smear campaign. Comment sections shifted like a tidal wave. Wait, she wasn't the problem? Zariah really protected his wife. Jinwoo looks stupid now. Liana is so elegant, damn. For the first time since the chaos began, Liana could breathe. Then Zariah appeared behind her, slipping her coat onto her shoulders. Ready, he asked. Ready for what? Our first public outing as husband and wife. She blinked. When did we agree to that?
We didn't, he said.
But the world is watching. And we are not hiding. Before she could argue, he gently offered his arm. Walk with me. She placed her hand on his sleeve.
Warm. Steady. Strong.
They stepped out of the palace gates. Flash. Flash, flash, flash. Shouts erupted. Zariah, is it true you married her to punish your nephew? Liana, did you have an affair with him before the divorce? Zariah, are you in love with your new wife? Liana froze, overwhelmed. Panic crawled up her spine. She wasn't used to this. She didn't know where to look, what to say, what to do. Then she felt it. Zariah's hand sliding around her waist, steady, grounding, possessive. Breathe, he whispered.
She did.
He faced the crowd with lethal calm. We will answer 3 questions, he announced. Cameras exploded. A reporter shouted, Zariah, why marry her? He looked at Liana, directly, deeply. And the world leaned in. Because she saved my life, he said. Gasps rippled. Second question, he continued. A woman yelled, Do you love her? Liana's heart stopped. Zariah didn't. He smirked slightly. Love is irrelevant. I respect her, and that is more than Jinwoo ever offered. Reporters went feral. Third question, he said loudly. Someone yelled, What will you do about Aubrey Kellis? His smile vanished. He pulled Liana closer. She will face consequences, he said coldly. Anyone who harms my wife will. Liana's stomach fluttered. The crowd erupted again. Inside the car, silence throbbed between them. You didn't have to touch me, she murmured. You looked overwhelmed. I was fine. You were shaking. She glared. Barely. He raised a brow. Liana huffed and looked away. He chuckled softly. The sound startled her, warm, rich, almost boyish. "You're enjoying this," she accused. "Only because you pretend you don't like the attention." "I don't." "You will." She shot him another glare. He held her gaze. "You handled today well," he said quietly. "I'm proud of you." Her pulse jumped.
Proud?
No one had said that to her in years. But the peace doesn't last. As they returned to the palace, a maid ran toward them, breathless. "Boss, there's a problem." So Ryan stiffened. "What happened?" "It's Jinwoo," she cried. "He's in the hospital." Liana's heart stopped. "What happened to him?" she whispered. The maid swallowed. "They think someone poisoned him." Silence. Cold, sharp, dangerous. So Ryan's jaw tightened. "Who?" he growled. The maid trembled. "They don't know yet. But they found something in his apartment. A lipstick stain. Red." Liana froze. Only one woman wore that shade. Aubrey. Her voice cracked. "So, she tried to kill him?" "No." So Ryan said slowly. His eyes went dark. "She tried to frame you." The hospital reeked of bleach, panic, and lies. Liana stood just outside Jinwoo's room, staring through the glass wall at the husband she had once only known in theory, now pale, shaking, tubes in his arms, fighting for breath. For a moment, just a moment, pity tugged at her chest. So Ryan stood beside her, unreadable. "Does he know who did it?" she whispered. "No." So Ryan murmured. He collapsed before giving full details. "But the lipstick," Liana said quietly. "They think it's mine." His jaw tightened. "It's not." "I know that," she sighed. "But does anyone else?" He didn't answer. And that was answer enough. Two detectives approached. Not just detectives, mafia-linked police, the kind who serve the highest bidder. "Mrs. Han Liana," the first officer said. "We need you to come with us for questioning." Her stomach flipped. So Ryan stepped in front of her. "No," he said calmly. "You don't." The second officer smirked. She was seen leaving his apartment complex earlier this week. She was dropping off divorce papers, so Ryan snapped. "And the lipstick on the glass?" "It's her exact shade." She had motive. The officers crowded closer. Liana's throat tightened. "This is insane. I didn't touch him." "Save it for the station," the officer said, reaching for her arm. He never touched her. Because so Ryan caught his wrist midair, twisting until joints cracked. "Try that again," so Ryan said softly, "and I'll break your hand." The hallway froze. Even the nurses stopped breathing. The officer yanked his hand back, shaking. "You're interfering with an investigation." "No," so Ryan said. "I'm interfering with stupidity." Liana looked up at him, heart pounding. He wasn't shielding her out of duty. He was furious, protective in a way that made her chest ache. The elevator pinged. Aubrey walked out, like she owned the building. Her red lipstick glowed like blood. Her eyes glinted with triumph. "Oh good," she purred. "You're all here." Liana's fists curled. Aubrey placed a hand dramatically over her heart. "I came to check on Jinwoo." "Poor thing." Liana stepped forward. "You should be in jail." Aubrey pouted. "For what? Caring?" "You framed me," Liana snapped. "You poisoned him." Aubrey giggled. Actually giggled. "If I wanted him dead, sweetheart, trust me, he'd be dead." The officers exchanged worried glances. So Ryan's voice dropped to a deadly register. "You're playing a very dangerous game." Aubrey smirked. "And you're getting predictable. You always protect the girl you're sleeping with." Liana froze. The officers froze. Even the fluorescent lights seemed to flicker. So Ryan turned to her slowly. "Leave." "No," she said. "This won't be pretty." "It's already ugly," she shot back. He held her gaze, a silent, burning warning, then turned to Aubrey. "You're lying," he said. "Am I?" Aubrey whispered. "Your counsel thinks you married her out of lust. Your nephew thinks you stole his wife. And the public? Oh, darling, they are so easy to sway." She tapped her phone. A new headline popped up instantly. "Breaking. Was Liana Okoye cheating with her husband's uncle? Anonymous sources confirm. Years-long affair. Liana's breath caught. Her knees almost buckled. So Ryan looked like he wanted to destroy the entire world. Who paid for that story? He demanded. Aubrey winked. Someone you underestimated. Sirens blared. More police entered. 12 officers. 2 prosecutors. And the hospital director. So Ryan, the prosecutor announced, you and your wife need to come with us. You are both persons of interest in this poisoning case. Liana's hand shook. So Ryan, she whispered, what do we do? He turned to her, and for the first time since she met him, she saw fear flash in his eyes. Not for himself. For her. They're not taking you anywhere, he said. Then he grabbed her hand, tightly, and moved.
Fast.
He pulled her through the hallway as officers shouted, pushed open a staff door, dragged her down the emergency stairwell. Her heart rammed against her ribs. This is insane, she gasped. We're fugitives now. We're not fugitives, he said. We're survivors. They burst out into the underground parking lot. A black car screeched to stop in front of them. One of So Ryan's men shouted, get in. They dove into the back seat. The moment the doors shut, police cars blocked the exit. Liana gasped. We're trapped. So Ryan calmly pulled out his phone. No, he said. We're prepared. He pressed a button. The underground sprinklers exploded. Not with water. With smoke. Thick, white, blinding smoke. The car sped forward as confusion erupted behind them. Shots fired. Shouts echoed. Officers stumbled blindly. They sped through the smoke and out onto the street. Liana clutched the seat. Are we criminals now? No, so Ryan said. We're targets. Big difference. Because of Aubrey? Because someone far more dangerous is protecting her. Liana stared at him, fear sliding cold and sharp through her veins. Who? So Ryan exhaled slowly. His voice was barely above a whisper. Your ex-husband's father. They arrived at a hidden villa deep in the outskirts, surrounded by pine trees, fog, and silence. Inside, so Ryan guided her to a chair, hands gentle but firm. Breathe, he said. She tried. She couldn't. Tears spilled suddenly, hot, messy, unstoppable. Everything is falling apart, and I didn't do anything wrong, she sobbed. Why are they doing this? So Ryan knelt in front of her. Actually knelt. Look at me.
She did.
His eyes, dark, fierce, burning, held hers like an anchor. You didn't cause this, he said. You didn't deserve this. And I will not let them touch you. Her voice trembled. But Jinwoo, he's your nephew. I don't give a damn, so Ryan said. He betrayed you. He betrayed this family. But the council. He cupped her face. I am the council. Her breath hitched. His voice dropped, low and raw. And if I must burn this entire city to protect you, I will. Silence shattered something between them. Something fragile. Something forbidden. Something undeniably real. Liana whispered, Why? He didn't let go. Because you're my wife, he said, and because I am starting to care about you more than I should. Her chest tightened. Is that a promise? She whispered.
No, Liana.
His thumb brushed away a tear. It's a threat. The safe house was quiet. Too quiet. Liana sat on the plush sofa, hands wrapped around a cup of steaming tea. Her fingers shook slightly from adrenaline, fear, and something else she couldn't name. So Ryan stood by the window, his silhouette carved against the pale moonlight. His jaw was tight, every muscle coiled like a panther ready to strike. Do you ever rest? She asked quietly. He didn't turn. Rest is for those who can afford weakness. And tonight, weakness will get us killed. Liana swallowed. Because of Aubrey? He finally looked at her, eyes dark. She's not the only one. Someone higher up wants her to succeed. Someone powerful enough to poison Jinwoo without anyone suspecting. Her stomach dropped. Who? He hesitated. Then his lips tightened. Your ex-husband's father. Liana froze. Cold dread rolled through her veins. He would do anything, so Ryan finished for her. And he did. That lipstick wasn't just a frame. It was a message. One meant to terrify you, humiliate you, and weaken me. She gritted her teeth. Then we make him regret it. So Ryan's lips curved in a faint, dangerous smile. Exactly. A sudden beeping from the safe house's secure line made them both jump. Jinwoo's face appeared on the screen via a video call. Pale, weak, tubes barely removed. Liana, his voice trembled. What happened? Liana clenched her fists. You got poisoned. But don't worry. You're alive. Alive, thanks to. Jinwoo's gaze flickered nervously. So Ryan? Yes. So Ryan said sharply. And now you'll stay out of my business, out of my family, and out of my wife's life. Understood? Jinwoo's lips pressed into a thin line. Understood. Liana felt a pang of pity, but it quickly turned into cold determination. He had betrayed her trust. Betrayed his family. Betrayed her. Good. So Ryan said, ending the call. No sooner had the video ended than a knock rattled the reinforced door.
Aubrey.
Of course. She leaned against the door with her signature smirk. You can't hide forever, Liana. You think he'll protect you from everything. So Ryan's hand moved to her shoulder, barely touching, but enough to make Liana flinch. You have one chance to leave, he said, voice low and lethal. Then I will personally make sure you regret every breath you take. Aubrey laughed. Bold words for someone married to a woman who isn't even supposed to be yours yet. Liana opened her mouth to speak but froze. So Ryan's gaze burned into hers, silent warning. Don't. The air thickened, heavy with tension, danger, and something darker. Something that made Liana's pulse race. Hours later, after Aubrey was forced out by So Ryan's men, the two of them sat at a long, polished mahogany table. Maps, files, and laptops littered the surface. So, we take it from the top, So Ryan said. His hand hovered over a tablet, highlighting documents, bank accounts, and corporate moves. Step 1. Expose Aubrey for the criminal she is. Step 2. Make her father pay for every attempt to hurt you. Step 3. He leaned closer. Teach everyone who crosses the Han family that you don't mess with my wife. Liana's pulse raced. And Jinwoo? He didn't hesitate. He's collateral damage. Loyal to no one but himself. He will learn his place. Her lips curled into a small, grim smile.
Good.
Because I'm done being a victim. Hours turned into night. They worked side by side, plotting and countering. The room hummed with tension, quiet, electric, dangerous. So, Liana said, finally, her voice teasing despite herself, you really are keeping me alive, not just because you're supposed to? So Ryan's eyes met hers.
Close.
Intensely. Because you intrigue me. Liana swallowed hard. Intrigue you? Yes, he said, voice low. You're sharp, fearless, and maddeningly clever. And you're mine. In every sense I care to claim. Her heart raced. Mine? His lips brushed dangerously close to hers. For now. The air between them crackled. A dance. A fire waiting to ignite. And Liana realized she didn't just want revenge. She wanted him. And he wanted her. Before either could act, a message flashed on So Ryan's secure phone. She's making her move. Be ready. Liana read it, heart thundering.
Aubrey.
So Ryan's hand found hers. His grip was firm, possessive. We fight together, he said. Or die separately. Her lips quirked. I'd rather fight. His lips brushed hers, a fleeting, electric touch that left sparks and promises. Good, he murmured. Then let's make them regret everything. The war had officially begun. The early morning fog wrapped the city in a ghostly haze, hiding movement, sound, and the storm about to erupt. Inside the safe house, Liana sharpened her resolve like a blade. Every strategy, every countermeasure, every step of her plan had led to this night. So Ryan watched her from across the room, leaning casually against the wall, arms crossed, jaw tight. Even relaxed, he radiated lethal control. You're nervous, he said, voice low. Liana's eyes flicked to him, fierce. I'm ready. He smirked.
Good.
Because tonight, Aubrey won't just regret crossing us. She'll wish she'd never existed. The mansion gates burst open under the cover of night. Black SUVs screeched to a halt. So Ryan's men, silent and deadly, poured out, weapons ready. Liana followed close, nerves taut but adrenaline coursing. Inside, Aubrey Kellis waited, smirk painted across her face like a mask. But this time, she was out of tricks. So Ryan, she hissed, lips curling. You really think you can protect her? I don't think, he said, stepping forward. I know. Aubrey lunged for Liana, but a swift hand caught her wrist. Liana twisted, landing a hard slap across Aubrey's cheek. Step away. Aubrey faltered, startled by the ferocity in Liana's eyes. So Ryan moved like a shadow, silent, precise, his presence terrifying, controlled, lethal. He disarmed Aubrey's accomplice with one smooth motion, pinned another against the wall, and disappeared into the chaos before anyone could react. Liana felt a surge of power, of control, coursing through her. She wasn't just the wife anymore. She was an equal partner in war. Aubrey stumbled back, anger flaring. You'll pay for this. Liana stepped forward, cold and commanding.
No.
You will pay for every lie, every attempt to ruin me, for touching Jinwoo, for threatening my life. Aubrey's eyes widened. For the first time, she realized Liana was no longer a victim. She was a force. So Ryan appeared behind Liana, hand resting on her waist. Firm. Possessive. Protective. You're finished, he said quietly, almost tenderly. And don't test me again. Aubrey faltered, then fled, the doors slamming shut behind her. Liana exhaled slowly, feeling the tension melt away. But her chest was still racing from the danger, from the adrenaline, and from him. In the quiet that followed, so Ryan led her to the balcony, overlooking the city. Neon lights shimmered like diamonds in the fog. You were incredible, he said. I might actually start enjoying having you as my wife. Liana raised a brow. Might? He smirked.
Definitely.
You're fearless, clever, dangerous. And I can't stop thinking about you. Her pulse skipped. You mean it? He stepped closer, the faintest brush of his lips against her temple sending shivers down her spine. I do. You're mine, Liana. And I will protect you. Always. A soft laugh escaped her, a mixture of relief, disbelief, and something dangerous. I think I might actually like being yours. He tilted her chin up, lips brushing hers in a teasing, electrifying kiss. You will like it. The city stretched below them, unaware that its most powerful duo had just claimed victory over lies, betrayal, and those who dared threaten their lives. A sudden alert pinged on Ryan's secure phone. Liana frowned. More trouble? He read the message, eyes narrowing, then looked at her with a rare, soft smile. No, he said. This is good news. He handed her the phone. A message from Jinwoo. I resign. I'm done.
You win.
Stay safe, Liana. Always. She exhaled, relief flooding her. He actually learned the hard way, so Ryan finished, eyes dark with amusement. Liana laughed softly, leaning into him. His arms wrapped around her, warm, solid, protective. I guess we make a pretty good team, she murmured. He smirked, pressing a kiss to her forehead.
The best.
And this is only the beginning. For the first time in years, Liana felt free. Not just from lies or Aubrey or Jinwoo. From fear. From weakness. From the world that tried to define her. She had survived the storm. And with Ryan by her side, she knew she would conquer whatever came next. The city lights sparkled below, but the real fire, the fire that burned brighter than any neon glow, was theirs.